Okay, so we will continue with our discussion with our phase control rectifiers. We had done single phase and we had done a part of the three phase, that is three phase full converter. And so now what we'll do, we'll continue with three phase fully controlled bridge rectifier only, or full converter only, with the load changing, load change to RL load. One second. Okay. Uh, So now the same circuit will be used. We'll change the load to RL load, and what we will do is just study the basic difference. What was difference in the circuit? I have taken the previous slides also for you, so that just to recap all those things, we'll just go through this slide once. That what are the same things will happen over here in three-phase full control converter. If I take the circuit over here, this 135 was, if I take a pen over here, 135, the load positive is this one. So the odd numbers were connected to the positive one, positive side of the load. So from here you will get positive, means if T1 is on, that means you will get VA over here, that means VA is positive. If T2 is on, the lower part of the switch, it is connected to the negative, so it will provide a return path of the current. So if T2 is on, the potential, this is C, so this will be VC. So VA is plus, VC is minus. So you'll get VA minus VC, that is VAC at the load. So that's why our odd number was called as a positive group and the even number was called as a negative group. Next, each device should always be triggered at a firing angle alpha because we are using a thyristor. If we were using diode, then alpha would have been 0. These things you know. SCR will conduct for 120 degree because after each 120 degree your phase changes. So from minus B to minus C is 120, from minus C to minus A is 120. If you take the plus, A to B is 120 degree, B to C is another 120 degree. So you can see that T1 is connected to A, T3 is connected to B, and T5 is connected to C. So from A to T1 to T3, there is a phase change of A to B. So there will be a 120 degree phase shift. So that's why each SCRs will conduct for 120 degree, because if you go from T1 to T2, you see A to C. A to C is again gap of 120 degree. So one SCR can conduct for 120 degree only. If the second SCR conducts, then there is a phase change, and between two phases, the gap is how much? 120 degree. So that's why the third point, this already we just discussed. How we should trigger it? We should trigger in the sequence according to the numbers. So numbering is very essential. Again, I'm telling you, numbering is very essential. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be the triggering sequence. First 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. All this should be triggered. Phase shift of triggering to SCR is 60 degree. Why? Because I told you reason, because at the output what we are getting is VAC, right? Line voltage. Now from this one AB to AC, from one line voltage to another line voltage, what is the gap? 60 degree. So when two switches conducts, we'll get a line voltage. When the another pair of switch conducts, we'll get another line voltage. So from one line voltage to another line voltage, what is my gap is 60 degree. That's why that point was taken. Then what we did was, we had written all the equations over here from this vector diagram. You know how to draw this vector diagram. Take your A as reference, then draw your B, C, all, draw in the negative portion and draw the resultant of all the phases. So A and minus B gives you AB. So this should be drawn from there. Accordingly you should draw this. Then I had shown you the graph. You have to draw the line voltages, because at the output line we obtain line voltage. So you need to draw the line voltages very clearly so that you can draw this last V0. Without this VL, you can't draw this. Okay. So very essential thing is to draw the VL, how you are drawing with this curves, and how all these things are drawn. I have told you. I'm not explaining in today's lecture again. Next, what we need to do, we need to draw the IG for whatever alpha given, that is whatever firing angle given, and this was the triggering pulse table which we had done. Okay, so why 30 degree? Already a delay was there, because between any phase and line there is a delay of 30 degree, which we have studied. Between any phase, A is my phase and A minus C, or AC is my line. So between phase and line, what is my gap, what is my phase difference, is 30 degree. So instead of even if you are giving a firing delay or firing angle of alpha, there will be automatically a delay of 30 degree present, because at the load we get our line voltage, and our phase voltage is reference. So we have to calculate the phase difference of the reference point with our present point. So that is 30 degree. So that is how everything is done over here, which we have studied, and we had plotted our waveforms, right? And we had seen that something was a problem over here. What was the problem? We could see that if the alpha was greater than 60 degree, now if alpha was 60 degree, it was coming to a transition point, because my voltage was reaching 0, right? So what does our common sense tell me? If I increase the value beyond 60 degree, so that means this value should come in the negative direction, then go in the opposite way, right? So obviously 60 is a means what I'll say, crossover point. Okay, beyond that your current becomes discontinuous, or rather than telling in control system term crossover, I'll tell in terms of power electronics, it becomes discontinuous because it goes beyond 0. So what was having, we were having at 90 degree, we were having the negative portion that would have appeared over here is removed, because there is no inductor. If there is an inductor, then only the negative portion would have existed. So the negative portion which we were getting beyond your 60 degree firing angle will be 0, because since it is a R load. So all the negative portions are 0 over here. Negative portions are 0. So from here we can take a conclusion. If you want to see the negative portion, we have to use an inductor at the load. Then only you will see the negative portion over here. So that is beyond your 60 degree. So 60 degree is your is limit to continuous and discontinuous conduction. And at alpha equal to 120 degree, we had seen that the voltage magnitude was becoming so less, and in many books it will be close to 0. If you calculate the average value, it will be close to 0. So sometimes in many books or literature, you will find that it is 0. It is mentioned 0 points. Okay. And we had done some calculations. So today what we will do is we will not explain any circuit over here. We'll just take the same circuit and just compare the waveforms. I have not taken any book waveforms. I have simulated on myself only and tried to show you the exact results. So just we'll compare. Okay, so alpha equal to 0 degree. If you can observe over here, I have taken the waveform for alpha equal to 0 degree for R and RL load respectively. This side is R, the right hand side is RL. So if you take 0 degree, there was not a problem, because there was the voltage was not going beyond 0. It means your x-axis 0. It was not cutting and y-axis the origin. It was not going over the origin and going to the minus y. Means it was, we were not getting minus V0 over there. So the waveform looks same magnitude, same thing. Even if it is R load, if it is RL load, doesn't matter if firing angle is below 60 degree. That is the term I'm telling you. Below 60 degree, all waveforms look same. Even the magnitude. See, it is over here. We had seen last day how I could precisely calculate this value from the simulation only. Now I can show you, because it is in simulation software. So 325 was a value. See over here also. This point is 325. The same point. Now it is gap between 280. At 280, Above 280 is this lowest point. See, above 280 is this lowest point. So both waveforms look similar when alpha is equal to 0 degree. There is not a single problem with it. We can draw the same waveform. Even if it is told in a question, draw output waveform for a R load or a RL load. Okay. Now, if you look at 30 degree, obviously what our common sense tells us, it should be same, because in 30 degree also we don't get any negative portion. So you see, you compare these two waveforms. First two waveforms are same because those are line voltages. The second waveform is 300 to 325 over here, maybe value. So 300 above 300, same points you can see. This point and this point the same. The lowest point is above 150 and below 200. So lowest point is above 150 and below 200. So lowest point is also same. And the peak point is also same. So doesn't matter if you take a firing angle less than 60 degree. Okay, all waveforms will be same. So same procedure you have to carry on with all these waveforms. Next, jumping into what will happen when it is greater than 90 degree. So now the inductor comes into conduction. I have already stated all these things, so I am not repeating it again and again. I have explained you how the RL load means operate. First it will charge, then it will discharge through the source only. If a freewheeling diode is there, then that voltage will be 0. So your with freewheeling diode, the waveform is same as your R load. Without freewheeling diode, we will have the negative portion. Now, to recall some facts, I will also tell you, if you see this converter and remove these two thyristors, it will act as a full bridge converter, right? 4 thyristors, 1 load. So full bridge converter had 4 thyristors, 1 load. But it was a problem with full bridge thyristor, means full bridge converter, that if you use RL load, our voltage was becoming negative. If I am taking continuous, I can draw like this. Our voltage was having a negative part. So in order to remove the negative part, we use the freewheeling diode across the load. Or otherwise, in order to make it more simplified, we had used another type of converter that was called a semi-converter, which implemented 2 thyristor and 2 diode. So within it only, freewheeling action was inbuilt. So we didn't need this freewheeling diode extra. And we didn't need to control so many thyristors. We had 2 thyristors to control. Diodes were automatically on and automatically off because of the supply voltage. So it had an inherent freewheeling property within itself, so that the inductor could discharge for semi-converter. But now over here you see again same thing, we are using full converter, right? Full converter. So again there will be no chance of your thyristor means means load voltage to become 0. So it will discharge through the source only. So that's why we'll have a negative portion over here if you are using RL load. So that's why what I have shown over here is negative. Compare these two waveforms. You can see the magnitude are same, right? Positive magnitude is same because positive side will always look the same. See, above 150, a small bit above 150. So that is shown over here also. Small point above 150. Okay, these magnitudes are same. Now what happens over here? See, at this transition point, it has become 0. Because it is R load, there is no point of discharging, but your inductor discharges if it is RL load. So it will discharge to the source only. So source voltage only continues. So this waveform only continues. Then it becomes 0 and then it goes on. This is all simulation results I am showing you. In book also you will get the same waveform, but this I think I have not taken the waveform from books, but I think if I show you the simulation results, it will be better. That's why I have shown the simulation results. So the negative portion is what you are seeing over here. Now, how is this negative portion dependent? It depends upon your value of N. Next slide, what I have done is made a comparison over here. Okay, how you are getting your negative portion. So we had three values of L. The previous thing circuit which I had simulated was using L equal to 0.01. I have taken three other values of L, keeping all the things as same, and alpha is equal to 90 degree. So you can see the waveforms over here. See, small negative portion, a bit more negative portion we are getting. See, minus 150 if you can observe. Clearly, if you are using a laptop, I think you can observe. If you are using mobile, I don't think you can see the values. But I'm telling you, it is minus 150 written over here. It is minus 50 over here, and this is minus 100 over here. So in between 50 and 100, this value is. And this value is in between 100 and 150. So the negative portion is increasing. Now you see over here, again the negative portion has completed the whole cycle. What does it mean actually? If you are going to increase the value of your inductance, it takes more time to discharge. Time constant increases. Tau equal to L by R. So the more time the inductor takes to discharge, the more time will the source voltage be continued. That means this is my source voltage. If my inductor discharges at this point, so up to this point my source voltage is continuing. If my inductor discharges at this point, so it has to, the source voltage will continue up to a longer point. If my inductor is so large that it will engulf the whole negative period, then it will complete this whole cycle. See, I have taken such a large value of inductor for my circuit that it engulfs the whole negative period over here. So all depends upon your value of inductance. No need to worry about what is asked in the question. If it is asked RL load, draw any of the waveform. You don't have to mention the values also. I can understand it clearly, but you should show the negative portion in RL load. If you are also told to compare the waveform of R and RL load, you have to draw this waveform or any waveform. If you are drawing this waveform, what you will draw? RL load only this much. This part 0, then this much. This part 0, then 0, then this part. If you are drawing RL load, instead of 0, you will draw the negative portion. But this is the difference. So that is what I wanted to highlight in today's class, and we'll do some calculations regarding another three-phase converter, and we'll do that. So next what we'll do is, just now in first means last day's lecture or today's lecture also I have told you the negative portion has to be eliminated. Why negative portion has to be eliminated? I told you there are many disadvantages. I'm not repeating it. So what was my need? I could have used a freewheeling diode. Just now I had shown. Maybe it is not drawn over here. The other slide I had used. I think so. So we were using we could have used a freewheeling diode across the load, and the inductive load would have discharged through that, and so the negative portion would have been 0. But we had also studied about another type of converter, that is semi-converter. So in comparison to the full control rectifier, if we use a semi-converter, it will produce the same output but a better output in case of RL load. So we are, instead of using a fully controlled bridge converter for RL load, because you are seeing that there are negative portions over here. Okay, what we will do is we will use a semi-converter or a half-controlled bridge rectifier. That is what is today's discussion. Very easy discussion. We'll just go through it very quickly. Nothing to worry about. Just very simple, because you have understood full converter. Okay, you could have easily understood the semi-converter in previous classes. Okay, over here also same. We have understood full converter, half controlled. It's just similar thing. Only 3 diodes, 3 thyristors. Previously in single phase, what was there? 2 diodes, 2 thyristors. Over here, 3 diodes, 3 thyristors. So I have given some of the important points over here. What are the advantages? Why it is used in many applications? Obviously, RL load, all those things are written. So just I'll tell you, can go through this first 1 to 3 points. Just to go through the basics. Obviously, what is there? I told you there should be 3 thyristors in the top group, that is the positive group, and the bottom group will be 3 diodes. Okay. So that means we are using a semi-converter, because half of the portion is controlled. The other half is uncontrolled because of the use of diode. Some of the advantages are written over here. the power factor, displacement factor compared to the full converter is lower over here, extends, and obviously if you are using a semi-converter, input power factor improves. That all you know. What are the advantages of freewheeling diode? You can freewheeling action you can write out over here. The continuous conduction always is preferable, so we use this type of semi-converter. uh, there is a disadvantage over here that 1/3 of the input cycle is present in the output. The output voltage is periodic over 1/3 of the input cycle, and over here it is previously we had seen 1/6 of the cycle. Because I'll just make this a comparison for you, because I think you may have forgotten the thing. Just look why I'm saying that one. Yes, if I complete up to 2 pi, how many curves I was getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half over here, half over here, 6 for full converter. Now for half converter, I have drawn output over here. So 1, 1, 2, 3 for one complete cycle up to 2 pi. So that's why that my this point is written. So output voltage is periodic over 1/3 of the input cycle rather than 1/6 in case of fully controlled converters. So what happens? Because of that, lower order harmonics becomes dominant, and that's why if lower order harmonics, magnitudes are higher, so you need to remove them. So heavier filtering is required. That's a disadvantage over here, but then also we can use this type of converter. Now you can take a RLE load, you can take a RL load, whichever you want, and understand the operation. Just for your knowledge and for your diagrammatic view, I have shown it out here. So this is a basic your three-phase semi-converter used. The upper part are 3 thyristors that are according T1, T3, T5. The lower 3 thyristors are replaced by 3 diodes, keeping the name same. D4, D6, D2. I told you how to write it. Difference of 3. 1 plus 3, 4. 3 plus 3, 6. 2 plus 3, 5. That's the difference. Okay. Now another difference over here is that previously which we had seen, we had seen that two legs means two switches of the same leg couldn't have conduct at the same time. So T1, D4 couldn't have conduct at the same time. But over here, we can have conduction of T1, D4 at the same time because there is a freewheeling action. It has to discharge. So if these other switches are off, then where it is to be discharged? It has to discharge through T1, D4. So this part of the switch, once it will act as a freewheeling action, freewheeling path. T3, D6 will act as a freewheeling path once. Then another path will be T5, D2. So there are 9 conducting modes over here. If you write the conducting modes over here, so I've written it over here, conducting modes. You can go through it and understand. I have explained you 3. When freewheeling action is done, others you can do it on your own because freewheeling path is very important. Conduction path, you know how to do it. Okay, now this is very important. What is happening over here? This one slide is only for your explanation. Others are very easy. See what is happening over here. We are trying to draw this table. Okay, how to give the triggering pulse. So this table was drawn previously also. Now also this table is drawn. Okay. Now if you take the diodes, okay, if you take the diodes, these diodes, we can't give any diode any firing angle. So whenever my diode will have a positive voltage, it will be on. Whenever my diode will have a negative voltage, it will be off. Okay. So we don't have to give any firing pulses. So there will be no inclusion of alpha over there. Previously, if you look into the, okay, again another comparison if I want to do. If you look into this table of the triggering pulses, we had all the 6 as thyristors, see, T1 to T6. And all had an influence of the alpha firing angle. But over here, now since we are using diodes, so for D1, D2, D4, D6, we'll have fixed values. What are those fixed values? Now, if you consider your D2, when it is off, when the voltage across this point is C potential, C is coming over here, C. So if I keep a voltmeter between these two, VBC, VAC. When VBC and VAC acts across this D2 and makes is reverse bias, then how will it make reverse bias? When VBC or VAC is negative, then only my D2 will be off. So that's why when VBC or VAC is negative, my D2 is off. That is my explanation over here. So if you take anyone as reference, if you take VBC as reference over here as taken by me, so VBC will be 2VL sine omega t. Okay. So what will be the blocking period of this D2? Okay. So blocking period will 2 pi by 3 to 2 pi, or we just simply think which will be the diode. Think it like this. We know which voltage will make it block. Yes, this point is potential C, we know. And if I want to measure the voltage across these 2 points, another point, either once it will be connected to B, either once it will connected to A. So AC and ABC will appear across this diode D2. And when it will be this diode off, when that AC or BC voltage will be negative. Now, which diode will, we know the triggering sequence. After T1, D2, then T3, then D4, then T5, then D6. So we know the diode sequence. So D2, D4, D6 will be my diode sequence. And so we know that the diode will conduct in a way from D2 to D6. So for the first 120 degree, obviously, which should conduct? D2. For the next 120 degree, which should conduct? D4. For the next 120 degree, which should conduct? D6. So the trigger firing means on period will be 0 to 120 degree or 2 pi by 3 for D2. The next 120 degree, that is 120 degree to 240 degree for D4. So my diodes will be conducting each for a period of 120 degree without any influence of alpha. So we have direct value of 120 degree conduction over here. So I can directly write down over here. D2 is conducting from 0 to 2 pi by 3. D4 is conducting from 2 pi by 3 to 4 pi by 3. D6 is conducting from 4 pi by 3 to 2 pi. Okay. So directly we have written it down. Now, if we take the conduction period of your thyristors. So thyristors, how it will conduct, just now we have seen. So after 1, 3 will conduct, then 5 will conduct. So 1, 3, 5 is the sequence. So that is written over here. T1 to T3 to T5. Okay. So before my T1 comes into conduction, this is a cyclic procedure. So before my T1 comes into conduction, so T5 was conducting. So before T1 comes into conduction, T5 was conducting. Okay. So what will be the voltage across T1? VAC. So if this is my point A, T5 was conducting. If T5 is conducting, what will be my voltage over here? C. So if I connect a voltmeter over here, what will it measure? This will measure VAC, the potential difference across these 2 points. So VAC is the voltage which is being appearing across the T1 thyristor at the point when it is being turned on. So we are writing the equation for VAC, magnitude remaining same, 2VL sine omega t. Now which we have considered as reference VBC. So VBC as a reference, that's why I have drawn the figure over here again. And from here, if you calculate your VAC is this point. So how much is the gap? 60 degree. Which direction? Clockwise. So plus 60 degree or pi by 3. So that's why this is written like this over here, because VBC is considered as reference. You could have taken A as reference and written this, no problem. Over here I have taken this reference and done with this. Okay. So now how this conduction takes place? So T1 starts conduction from alpha minus pi by 3 to alpha plus pi by 3. There is always an influence of alpha over here. And how this pi by 3 comes? This pi by 3 comes over here. The difference comes over here. So alpha minus pi by 3 to alpha plus pi by 3. Then after that, this gap, after this point, which thyristor will conduct? T5. So it starts conducting from alpha plus pi by 3 to alpha plus pi. And then the next thing from alpha plus pi to 2 pi plus alpha minus pi by 3. Total conduction will be 360 degree. You can add the starting and the last angle. So pi by 3 cancels out, alpha alpha cancels out. So this becomes 2 pi. So my all the calculations written over here are correct. So omega t equal to 0 to omega t equal to 2 pi completes our cycle. So that is what I have written over here. Alpha minus pi by 3 to alpha plus pi by 3. Alpha plus pi by 3 goes over here to alpha plus pi. Then alpha plus pi over here to 2 pi plus alpha. minus pi by 3. Add this 2, you will get 2 pi. So you are seeing the 2 pi cycle gets completed. Now this is 0 to 2 pi by 3. So you see 2 pi by 3 comes over here. 2 pi by 3 to 4 pi by 3. See 4 pi by 3 comes over here. So you know this relation, how we have done the last table. So this is our relation. Now you can draw your IG. You can draw all these things. This IG drawn. I have not shown it over here. Directly place the diagram. You can draw your IG, draw your waveform as stated. So this is the waveform that you obtain over here. So what is the difference? You can see for one complete cycle, that is 2 pi. Okay, there is 3 curves over here. There are 3 curves. This half over here, half over here. Okay, so the ripple frequency over here is 3. If it is 50 for the main waveform, this is 50 hertz. So ripple frequency over here is 3 into 50, and that is 150 hertz. So this is how the operation does. You please, this is a homework for you. You please try to draw this one. I have shown you the table. Using this table, how to draw IG, how to draw waveform, I have already explained to you. So I'm not explaining it over here. Take this value of alpha 30 and 90 degree and try to draw this. Okay, then only you will get which waveform you are getting over here. So I'm leaving this as a homework to you. And this part also you can look into books, but I'll give you a small explanation over here. Because what is happening over here, see alpha equal to 30 and at 90, this part becomes 0. Because there is freewheeling action, even though you are taking a RLE load and we are using a semi-converter, it will have an internal freewheeling action. So we will have a non-negative part. So negative part becomes 0. You know, below 60 degree it is continuous. Above 60 degree it is becoming discontinuous. That is, it is having negative portion. So 90 degree over here giving discontinuous. 30 degree gives you continuous. Now, if you look at this waveform over here, okay, this waveform also, if you draw, you can find out it is a combination alpha gradient. If you look at this waveform over here, just I'll tell you. See, T3 D2 up to this period, this small period. So I'll go to the figure T3 D2, T3 D2. So which voltage are you getting? VBC. So we are getting a voltage VBC over here. Okay. So we are getting VBC over here. We are getting VBC. We are thinking means from the waveform T3 D4. T3 D4 is conducting up to this period. So T3 D4, T3 D4, T3 D4 over here. So BA. Right, this point is there. So BA, VBA. That is conducting over here. So you can obviously see over here that this one single waveform is combination of 2 line voltages. Previously, if I compare with our previous lectures, now over here you could see that only one line voltage is there, either VAC. This complete is one line voltage. This complete curve is one line voltage. But in the lecture which we are studying now, this part is one line voltage, this part is one line voltage. Similarly goes over here. This part over here is one line voltage T5 D2, but T5 D2 you see, T5 D2. If these two are on, there will be a freewheeling action across this path as told to you previously. So voltage becomes 0. In this path, T1 D4, go to the figure, T1 D4 on. So freewheeling action. That's why voltage is 0. So like this goes on during this period and rest is another waveform. So that's why I'm doing this waveform first. Sorry. Then I'll come to this. So below 60 degree, if I draw the waveforms, then the output voltage will consist of 2 different line voltages in one curve. There are 3 curves over here. So all will look similar as in previous case, but one such small curve will have 2 line voltages. Okay, 2 line voltages will have 2 line voltages over here. Take any for any value of 30 degree, 60 degree, 40 degree, whatever you want to take, and write this equation. Okay, don't compare with this one, which voltages I told you. I have taken it maybe for different alpha, but if you take this also VBC and put this firing angle from this to this and put the limits, do the integration, you will get the same value. This VAC, VAB is. So what I am just trying to say is that below 60 degree, if I draw the line voltages, our attendance become. If I draw the line voltages, then below 60 degree, if I am drawing the line voltages, then it is a combination of 2 line voltages as we are seeing it over here. So I'll just put the limit, do the integration. Please look into the integration in the book, okay, because it is a long 2-page integration part. 1 page means small integrations are done in Vimra because they have not shown so much calculation. In other books, if you refer, this integration is quite large. Okay, but I will say for your exam also, you just understand how this formula is coming. This last formula is very important. Okay, so you should know this last formula, V naught average. Achha. For greater than 60 degree. Now we'll take just a conclusion from here and just see the equation, what is happening. So from here, what was the conclusion? During this part, freewheeling action was taking place, and during this part, up to this part, sorry, during this part, okay, what T1, D2 was on. So only one line voltage is there, one line voltage, VL. So over here also one line voltage which is becoming 0, another, only one single line voltage is there. Over here, there was a combination of 2 line voltages combination. But over here, it is only one single line voltage. See, I have taken in for any firing angle greater than 60 degree and taken only one line voltage. So, and how many times it is repeating? It is repeating 3 times. So it is multiplied by 3. Over here also multiplied by 3. Over here also multiplied by 3. One cycle is 2 pi, so 3 by 2. So you will get this formula. So please check the problem which is given. If it is alpha greater than 60, use this formula. If it is alpha less than 60, use this formula. Next, RMS output voltage, just the same thing, you know. You have to use the same formula over here. Only thing, over here it will be half. This will be square. All this will come under square root. So same thing I've written. If you understand the limits, you can do this equation. Same equation, this has become square, whole under square root. Same equation, whole under square root, this will be under square. You will get this equation. So ultimately, last equation should be known for you to solve problems. So these are all the equations, you can go through it. Both equations are same. The SCR, the switch ratings are given over here, as we had done in full converter also. Lastly, one simple problem which I would like to take and compare with your full converter and semi converter. Just very simple. See what it say. 3-phase full converter feeds the power to a resistive load of 10 ohm. So load is 10 ohm. Alpha is given 30 degree. Takes power of 5 kilowatt. Now you see the alpha over here is 30 degree. So which equation I should take? So equation for alpha less than 60 degree. That equation I should take. So that equation I should take and do the formula. So we have to find the magnitude of per phase supply voltage, input voltage. Output power is 5 kilowatt. So output power Vrms square by R equal to 5000. VML is equal to root 2 Vs. V naught RMS is the formula which we had already done in the previous lecture. I have just copied it and written it over here. And just putting the formula. What will be Vrms? See, there is a square root over here. You can do square of both sides. So square root has vanished. This has become Vrms square. So Vrms square is 5000 into R. So what is R? 10. So 5000 into 10. VML is root 2 Vs square. Now it has become square. So 2 Vs square into 3 by 2 pi, square root remove. So pi by 3 root 3 by 2 cos of 30 into 2, that is cos 60. Remember, your alpha is associated with cos, so you should use this firing delay as in degree. So that's why we have used 60 degree. Calculate the value, you will get your Vs. And we need to calculate the per phase value. Always connections are in star. So Vs by roots. So 108.591. Next, if you repeat the same for semi-converter, we'll take the formula for alpha less than 60 degree. So we'll take this formula, RMS value formula. We'll take this formula, do the square of both sides, substitute it accordingly. Same, we'll substitute it. Calculate Vs divided by roots. So you will get your value. So this small types of problem you can expect in your semester exams. Other problems you can refer through books. Some large problems are there also, you can refer through books. But this type of problem, the small problems which we have discussed, you can expect to come for your semester. Okay. So today we are ending with our lecture. So I have completed your 3 phase